Joining me today, I have an extraordinary panel. Yes, Connor Tomlinson is a Conservative commentator. Dawn Neesom is a broadcaster and columnist. And Ryan Mark is a Daily Star columnist. Welcome to you all. Thank you for joining me. We must start with some fireworks because they've been taking place at Sainsbury's. Sainsbury's has said that Brits might be looking forward to celebrating Bonfire Night, but they have once again banned the sale of fireworks from all of its stores because, apparently pets don't like them.
No! Who doesn't like a big bang at this time of year?
You love a bang at any time of the year.
I do like a big bang at any time of year. This is Sainsbury's, obviously for to look after your pet pooches and your pet pussies because they get a bit scared. So they are banning the sales of fireworks, which means nobody else can have any fun ever.
But does it mean that this is a supermarket starting to make a stand? I wish they'd make other stands, like for example, let's clear up on the waste and stop putting so much plastic packaging all over your stuff that you sell us.
Yeah.
Let's stop doing bog-offs where you end up buying so much stuff that you waste it.
Yeah.
Let's stop charging for plastic bags when you're still polluting the environment with everything else you do. All of that stuff, and yet they're telling us what to do. Does it mean that we just go, you know what? Ooh, Sainsbury's.
Well, I mean, the thing is, they're in conjunction with Sadiq Khan, aren't they? And I'm actually going to buy the biggest rocket and strap Sadiq Khan to it because he's actually banned fireworks at New Year's Eve as well.
Well, he said that last year. I don't know if he's actually banned the fireworks. It might just be the gathering, because last year he decided to spend tons of money on the fireworks and do a big BLM fist and the rainbow flag.
That
it's
was
going to happen
right.
again, 100%. We're just not allowed to stand there and watch it because we're the police.
That was over the dome, was it? It all went very woke and politically correct. Now, the thing is, obviously, it is very important to look after your pussies and your pooches. So, but you can train animals. If you get them used to loud noises and everything, you can train them and you look after them and make sure they're safe.
I have two dogs who I do keep indoors on fireworks night, but to be honest, they could care less. They really don't mind.
But some dogs are okay.
Yeah. Well, I thought it was my responsibility to look after my dog.
Yes.
And I don't see
I'm glad that you don't. Where is it now? He's looking after it now.
Out the street.
I think he's in the garden somewhere doing something. Nature's looking after my dog right now. But you know what? I don't see how Sainsbury's banning fireworks is really going to make a difference here.
They're just making a stand, because if you, for example, let's just bring in the other topic, which is in all the papers today. Oh, good, because as soon as Bonfire Night is said and done, it's Christmas! Yay! Christmas news! Oh, excellent. And then all the Christmas adverts are out. It is a woke-tastic festival.
It's dreaming of a woke Christmas this year, isn't it?
Who's done the worst wokerism?
But I think possibly, well, everyone's saying John Lewis, OK, the John Lewis one, which is a complete rip-off of E.T., it's
quite boring.
It's boring. It's awful.
And it didn't bring out.
Elliot snogging E.T. at the end of the
snog.
It was a peck. It was a peck.
On the cheek.
Well, personally, if I was
is
a kid,
that your version of snogging? Well, no, not your girlfriend. Blimey.
You and I.
Well, he does have a beard, so.
Not
I haven't had any complaints so far. But even if I was a kid that age, even I'd be worried about like some alien pathogen. Maybe I'm just pathological germaphobe, but I wouldn't be giving an alien a peck in case, we go COVID.
I think it's pretty...
COVID. They scared you as well.
COVID.
Scared you against the COVID.
Don't hug your granny.
Not quite that bad, but I think there might be a germ from Mars that might be a tiny bit worse than one out of China.
Yeah. It's just boring to watch. Like, compared to, they've done so many good adverts in the past, and that was just excruciating.
They've got sort of worse over the years, and I just think that this year, it's almost as if it's like, we've all been working from home, couldn't be bothered.
Yeah.
It's a boring advert when they spent a lot of money, and frankly, it's not going to make me go to John Lewis and buy anything.
They're financially suffering as well, so maybe that's the reason why.
Well, it's because they're being run by somebody who is a great business person, I'm sure, but she's not a retailer. There is no spark and bang and excitement and mystery and thought-provoking message. It's just like, couldn't be bothered.
Did they spend a lot of money, though? Because the makeup on the alien looked particularly poor. It looked a bit like a school play where they just spray him down with a bit of silver spray paint, stick a funnel on their egg and go on, out. From Planet X.
They've spent millions in the past on their
But now, in this day and age, do we need to be concerned that the child was not wearing a mask on the bus? Those are them rules by that Sadiq Khan. Yes, not wearing a mask, naughty.
You know, the most offensive thing about it is the theme tune. They've completely ruined a real classic, haven't they? Giorgio Moroder and Phil Oakey from the 1990s, was it?
Oh, that was before Ryan Mark was born.
Before these. But I mean, they've done it with the Beatles, haven't they? And they've just turned this classic.
Yeah, they've ruined that.
Together in Electric Dream, great classic, and they turned it into this whispery, vomit-inducing drivel that has no...
That's what they did with, what was it, Lily... What's her name?
Lily Allen.
Oh,
she butchered the Keane song.
Yeah,
I like that one. I like that advert. That was a good one.
But why not? And they
they
introduced this alien to this Christmas that just never exists anymore, does it? Why not show the alien a real British Christmas? Dad off his head on the sofa, Mum sobbing over her gin in the kitchen, the kids glued to their phones. Mrs. Brown's Boys on telly.
Yeah.
Why?
You know, the
Why?
aliens-
Doctor-
I'm getting off here
Nobody
straight
watching
away.
Doctor Who anymore.
No.
It's gone rubbish.
No,
Oh,
even the aliens
fantastic.
go, what the hell?
Yeah, yeah.
I don't understand
This is just an offensive stereotype.
Everything has gone wrong with Christmas. We keep saying that, you know, save this and save that to protect Christmas. Save something like a proper story or something fun.
Yeah.
Well-
all the fun has been sucked out.
Funnily that, do you want me to rain in your parade a little bit?
Oh, go on.
I know a person who works in organising the events for MPs.
Oh.
They got an email today, and I don't know if this is public knowledge properly yet, but they've cancelled their Christmas party and a lot of the parliamentary events.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, just in case they all get COVID.
Just in case. Well, what are they gonna plan to not do the events for? Because they just
Oh.
had an MP introduced saying, "Oh, we can't close down the schools if there's another emergency lockdown." Just hypothetically.
Well, Keir Starmer can't get COVID anymore. He's had it more times than God knows how many people.
He's had a very unlucky time with the old COVID.
He's been in
Has a lot.
isolation for like a year.
I mean, something's been trying.
That's a good thing for all of
Which
us,
is
to
no
be
bad
fair.
I mean, to be fair, it sounds like he's had it so many times. A nuclear winter wouldn't kill him off.
It's like a
He's part cockroach.
He's a cockroach, isn't he?
I just want to give a little shout out to the Marks and Sparks Christmas advert, which is
Really?
the big rival, and that's got Dawn French. We're quite liking it.
I like Dawn French. I'm not sure I like.
And
the advert.
Spider-Man actor Tom Holland, who is is voicing Percy Pig.
Right.
I
mean, I like him.
My Percy Pig wouldn't sound
yeah,
like
he's
that, to be
stand him.
honest with you.
He's very. You don't like.
I've always been a massive comic book fan, and he is not even close to Spider-Man
No.
whatsoever.
And it's not
Oh,
even
for
Percy Pig,
goodness
but it's
He's
quite
okay.
funny. I mean, Dawn French does say "Oh baubles," bit edgy, and Percy Pig runs around a Marks and Sparks supermarket in Westfield and Stratford, East London, by the way, if anyone's interested. But it runs down all the aisles, right, apart from the party food aisle, because party food's got pigs in blankets in
Yeah.
it, and Percy Pig is a pig, and it's like.
Right.
Look at these. This is your Christmas.
Yeah.
just-
No, 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 no.
Yeah, you're dead.
Yeah, they cut out the part where I'm chasing him around the aisles with a knife and fork.
Percy gets eaten in the end. Spoiler.
So we must turn our attention to other stories. Connor, COP26. It's your favourite event in the whole world.
So delighted. I can't wait to sit on a train for 7 hours and.
Why are you even going?
Well, so I'm policy director for the British Conservation Alliance. We're trying to moderate all the crap spending that they're doing, governments around the world firing money like confetti out of a cannon, all these issues. And basically we're just saying, hey, do you mind pumping the brakes and actually costing this thing first? Rishi Sunak decided to call himself a fiscal conservative and say, oh yeah, it's not my money, so I know I'm spending. Well, I'd rather keep the trillion for myself. Thank you very much.
OK, so COP26, what can we take away politically from it, other than the fact that it was a big old bore fest?
Well, a lot of the agreements don't seem to be kept to. It seems going to be a rerun of the Paris Accords from 2015, which most definitely got every country to commit to lowering their emissions, and then suddenly all the countries that were members of it went
So
skyrocket.
hang on a second. So Greta Thunberg standing outside saying, all of you lot are all talking rubbish inside. She had a point.
She actually had a point
yeah.
for once in her life.
You know what?
First
I'm going to
time.
push back on that slightly because her point
What do
is
you mean slightly?
you're not
Don't
spending
sit on
enough.
the fence.
I'm
Don't
not going to sit on the
get-
fence.
No,
there are
I
no
don't
splinters.
want-
There are no splinters in my backside. Thank you very
no.
much.
Come on, stop with the splinters.
Greta's point was
Yes.
you are not spending enough. You are not becoming tyrants enough. That is her issue. She's saying you're not going far enough. You're not committing to decarbonising overnight and shutting off electricity and rationing it.
You know, here's my modern day theory on Greta Thunberg.
Yep.
She is the classic example of a soothsayer, a youth soothsayer. It's like a religion. You can't possibly disagree with her. You can't possibly think that she's talking nonsense. And how somebody of her age, either she's, it's like modern day on the corner of Hyde Park with the end of the world is nigh. And we keep talking about the fact that, that the planet is going to die. The planet is not going to die. Humanity may have an issue, but where's the discussion about the 90 gazillion people on this planet, and maybe we should control the population a little bit rather than just trying
population
to...
control isn't the issue. I completely disagree there because if you want a planet to preserve, who are you preserving it for? Two, who's going to set the arbitrary limits on population control and where? Because we don't want the government to have that kind of say over that. And three, if you want to have these magical climate scientists coming up with all these issues and innovation's the way we're going to get out of any environmental problem, you better have some kids and actually raise them to solve the issues.
Well,
that
you
are
can
gonna
have
be born
some
into
children, but
society.
you don't necessarily need to feed all manner of them all over the world.
But
People need to understand birth control. I don't want to have intervention, but I do think that people need to understand birth control as part of a total measure to say, here's how we look after our planet in the same way that we should be looking after it to the extent that until or unless we can clear up after ourselves, should we really be having these conversations about global warming or heating or anything else which is completely out of our
But
control?
it's the likes of Greta and even Insulate Britain, where they preach all the time, incessantly going on about the climate. They actually motivate me to pollute. I actually feel like I want to pollute because of Greta.
Yeah, if Greta's the future, take a blowtorch to the ice caps.
How
please.
are you polluting?
Well, I don't necessarily recycle all the time.
It's the hairspray.
I mean, and the hairspray as well. That's bad, isn't it, for the environment? I just feel like they whine so much. I do admire Greta's passion. I feel she's a great, passionate
Hold on. She's a doom-mongering munchkin who invented the most elaborate reason to bunk off school for 15 years.
Yeah, it was
You have to
a
admire her
political.
to some extent.
stop.
What were you doing at her age? Were you on the front cover of Time
Can't
magazine?
remember
no,
that
no,
far
no,
back.
no,
That's an
go
unfair
back to the
question.
Victorians.
My
That's
parents
almost being
weren't-
rude. Oh, how could you?
My parents weren't directors and actors; they were poached her. So I didn't get the start on the ladder to say, "Hey, I'm going to have all my stuff scripted for me," and I can sit there and yelling blah 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 very passionately. And I didn't have
I
multi-million
don't think
pound
it's
backers.
blah, blah, blah. Do you think it's all nonsensical what she
Oh,
said?
it's
Literally
blah, blah,
what she
blah.
said.
No, it
She
is
literally
blah,
said blah
blah,
blah blah.
She said blah, 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 but I feel she does have a lot to say.
No,
She hasn't
blah,
read.
blah,
She hasn't
blah.
read the IPCC report.
She is conflating so many things
I've cracked it
in
up.
order to be able to make you sit up
I've
and listen.
cracked
It's classic.
it.
It's what they did on
He
COVID.
fancies her. That's it.
Excuse me, I don't bloody fancy Greta. But let's...
Speaks very highly of you.
Oh, really? I don't necessarily like what she has to say, but I
Right.
do admire her. Objectively, I do admire her as a person.
What, you wish
as a
that
young
you could have as
person.
much publicity?
Absolutely.
Right.
Who is
It's
her publicist?
Oh my
I think
God,
it's the
it's
same publicist
amazing.
as Harry and Meghan.
It's amazing.
I think they have the
puts
same
out
publicist.
She puts out some nonsense on the socials, and then everybody's like kowtowing. It is like modern day
However,
religion, and there is nothing there behind what she says.
Slightly in the Munchkin's defence.
What?
The Mirror today have exposed Boris Johnson, minute to midnight, strapped to the doomsday machine, etc., etc.
Well, should we let Ryan talk through this story?
Why?
He's stealing my
Why
story.
would I do that? Whatever. He
Let
Let me speak.
fancies
Let me speak.
Greta.
I don't fancy Greta. Goodness
back when
gracious.
you've got pigtails.
Goodness gracious. Listen, don't be jealous of a young child. 1 second. So.
She's 18.
Yeah, I know exactly.
Is she?
Yeah,
She's
exactly.
Exactly.
Point
What's-
mate.
yeah, exactly. What's
okay,
wrong?
okay, fine. Okay, fine.
What's wrong with that?
She looks so much younger than
Why
18.
does
I'm
she
sure.
Can we move
Okay.
on, please?
Okay,
that's
okay,
seriously,
okay.
This is the
She's
first
so
time
well.
ever.
Yeah, she looks
quiet.
Okay.
Quiet.
So,
Please silence for the Daily Mirror for once.
Someone-
the Daily Mirror splash. Okay, listen. So Boris has gone to the Garrett Club, an exclusive private members club.
Is it that exclusive?
I think so.
Have you been?
I have been once, yeah.
Yes, it's lovely.
That's not
It is,
exclusive
yeah.
then, is it?
It's not that
Have you
exclusive.
been?
I haven't
thank
been, so I
you.
feel
Cheers.
left out. It's
Cheers.
fine.
Have you been? You've.
Yeah, fine.
Not with that blazer. They won't let you in that.
No, I'm not. No, I haven't been. No.
Although it isn't.
But it's
Men only
very
could be members.
exclusive.
I'm a more Weatherspoons man, personally. There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm within.
Can't tell.
Now,
Now, let's get on
no,
with the
yeah.
Daily Mirror.
So he's flown from Glasgow to London for this sort of extravagant meeting with ex or current Daily Telegraph journalists, and he's chartered a private jet. He's preached about the environment and how we're 1 minute from midnight, to prevent a climate catastrophe. Yet he's on a private jet,
Is there a problem
going to
with
a
that?
dinner.
Is there a problem with
Well, it is, because I don't want to listen to the likes of Boris whining about the climate, and yet he's chartering a jet to go to a dinner at the private
I'm
members
sick
club.
and tired
Hypocritical.
of hearing these things. He's a hypocrite, but I'm bored of it. Daily Mirror, good journalism, but I'm sorry I had to rip you up because I don't want to talk about this story anymore because, you know what? I've been on a few private jets.
Oh, have you?
They're fabulous. And I'm sick and tired of people using them as an example. It's like, stop telling us. No, I don't want him to say stop using them.
The issue isn't the private jet.
I know, I
It's
love
like
them.
Harry and Meghan. They go on and on about the climate, yet they're happily going
I just
Elton
want
John's
to silence
jet.
all the people talking about this stuff, telling us to do stuff that they're not prepared to do themselves. So until or unless then stop it and stop filling our news with it.
Can I
Okay?
just say one more thing about COP26?
No.
If you must.
Big shout out to the Zimbabwe delegates who treated the whole thing like it was a booze cruise.
Well, it was.
They went there and but they admitted it. Unlike everybody else who were going, we're all going to die next week. They actually had a party.
Oh, I'm sure they enjoyed
on
themselves.
whiskey and
So it was basically
fair
the
play.
Conservative Party conference.
Well, yeah.
I wouldn't know. I've never been to one. I think I'd rather eat my own toenails.
I got drag kicking and screaming and drank the spectators' gin dry, so that was the highlight.
Oh, wow.
Well, if that's,
That's
a highlight.
horrible gin, actually. They sent me a bottle of that.
Yeah. Yeah, well, after 8, it tastes a lot better.
Yeah.
Right.
AM.
No, of them.
Dawn, you want to talk about a primary school in today's Daily Mail.
Yes, this is a primary school in Scotland. So there's a bit of a twist on this story. Has asked boys as well as girls as young as 3 to go in today, which is the day before Bonfire Night, wearing skirts, promote equality.
What is it, International Bullying Day?
Yeah, well, this is the problem I have
What's
with this
wrong with
story. Look,
skirts?
I think nothing wrong with skirts, and it is in Edinburgh, so men wear skirts a lot. No,
Yeah.
I don't have that. Look, wear what you want. I really don't have an issue with that. However, it is actually requesting that the kids and the teachers come in wearing a skirt. And the school has even said, if you don't have skirts at home, we'll supply them. Now, the level of bullying that can go on with that for a start, and why are they doing it? And educational standards in Scotland, by the way, are among the worst in this country. They have huge issues with the way they're running all their public services. So why are they wasting time and money having this wear a skirt to school day for little kids? Can't they just let them be kids, teach them maths and English?
But how does a skirt prevent that from happening? They can still learn in a skirt.
Well, no, it's a
Why
very
should they
important
do
point
it?
because, as the Soviets always said, propaganda is never a waste of money. And as you see in Scotland, you've got schools that say, oh, you can flip your gender as young as 3 and we won't have to tell the parents. So it's clearly an effort by the schools who have bought into all this work.
But is it woke-tastic?
Well,
evidently, according to the school, clothes don't have an agenda. Right, okay. Well, do you want to run
No, but
that
the
past
school
Do you
does.
want to run that past me with the hijab and the burqa then?
yeah,
Oh, now
we can't touch that topic, can we?
Exactly.
Talking of hijabs, have they screamed into the newspapers today?
But this is almost like it's
story.
rehearsed, isn't it? This it's
Almost.
like seamlessly.
Yeah. In today's Times newspaper, a European campaign celebrating the joy and freedom of wearing the hijab, it's been cancelled. Believe it or not, by the French. Well done, the French, for the first time ever. Beauty is diversity, according to the advert. What's interesting, though, is the use of English here. It says, how boring would the world be if everyone looked the same? And then it says, celebrate diversity and respect hijab. I mean, first of all, like terrible English. The second thing is, well, it's no wonder we left the European Union if they're going to spend money on nonsense like this.
Well, also, what's diverse about everyone wearing the same item of clothing that makes you look very similar?
What's also diverse? I mean, surely, whatever religion you are, you need to be able to have an environment in which it can be respected and you can go and live your life and choose. You don't necessarily need other people to either respect it or to do whatever, to kowtow to it. And also, there are certain religious accoutrements that, to be honest, let's not go there. I mean, whether it's interfering with people's bodies, whether it's interfering with basic human rights, all sorts of things about organised religion that we've refused to tackle just because. And we now live in a world in which there are some people who think that this is okay. And in my view, spending money in ways like this is not okay. It's no wonder we left.
I actually think everybody should be allowed to wear what they want and there shouldn't be legislation dictating what you can and can't wear. However, in this instance, I want to be 100% sure that women are choosing to wear that
as opposed to
of
being
their
forced.
own free will, as
Well,
opposed to being
and a lot of them won't. However, what is also in the papers today is a woke-tastic Hugh Edwards. He's the BBC News anchor. Now, he said that he feels uneasy. And if a BBC News anchor raises their head above the parapet and says they feel uneasy, then he must be steaming and boiling.
Yeah.
Why does he feel uneasy, James? Da, 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 da.
This is because the painting of General Sir Thomas Picton, which was hung on the walls of the museum in Cardiff for more than 100 years, is now being put into storage. And replaced with artists from with Trinidadian roots. They've been commissioned to reframe his legacy, and this is because apparently this individual was involved in slavery and cruelty to slaves, which of course is part of the history. You can't erase it. You shouldn't erase it. The story can or should be retold so that people understand that this is not a nice time of history.
Yeah.
But in the same way that when we're talking about Greta, when she says, well, you in Britain, you started the Industrial Revolution, so therefore you're responsible, as opposed to all the great things that have happened as a result of it. It's the same with colonialisation. There are many things which are as great as they are awful, and they are part of history. And until or unless you look at all of it in the context of what it's done to humanity and what you can learn from history, I'm afraid you're starting to you wash in a way that becomes very, very uncomfortable.
I had this debate the other day with someone, and she was lecturing me on the Hogarth exhibition at the Tate Britain, and how that had to be explained and cancelled because it was all to do with slavery, and she was doing it whilst drinking a cup of tea, wearing a pair of indigo jeans. Now, if you're cancelling everything that's to do with slavery, by the way, you don't drink tea. You don't wear indigo cotton
like a cup of
jeans.
tea?
I love a cup of
Exactly.
tea. Loose leaf.
Loose leaf tea,
Loose
yes,
leaf, yeah.
always.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You like
Darjeeling.
loose leaf
No,
tea?
I'm.
You like a bag.
I'm
You
a
like to
coffee-
squeeze it in the
No, I
corner.
don't drink tea. I'm a coffee addict.
Oh.
I need all the caffeine in the world to put up with you lot.
I've got a great tea story here. Oh, you want to do this one? No. Did you want to do this one?
Just keep your trap shut because
Okay.
there are other things to be done first. Meanwhile, I've got to turn to our favourite.
Oh, do we have to?
Oh,
Yes, we do.
He loves
What a
this.
bore.
Him and the BBC
This is
love
because
the
there's a lady in
Guardian.
here. This is the Guardian, and it took me till page 3 of the Guardian 2 to come up with anything worth looking
Well,
at.
you've gotten further than most people to pick up the
Well,
Guardian.
I know, I do my
Unless
job.
they work for the BBC, in
Emma
which case-
Beddington. How can employers stop their staff joining the Great Resignation? In which she talks about things that employers should do in order to keep you happy. It's a load of old tut. And then she goes on to talk about Generation Z and Brussels sprouts. And then she comes up with a conclusion as to what you must say and must not say. Do say the Brussels sprout is an endangered species. Do not say, does this mean we can finally admit that they're horrible? I don't know why. Why are they even printing this stuff? It's a waste of time. If you want people to buy your newspaper, The Guardian, put something in it. What? Please. It's just not that hard. Just put something in it. Connor, where would you like to go next?
I would say the I newspaper has started talking about the electric car thing.
Yeah.
So
The electric
now it does sound like a boring story, but funnily enough, they're going to ban all the petrol cars by 2035. Apparently, this has been put on hold because they've realised, we can't put any charging points anywhere, especially along all the highways. We've got to deliver all of our goods. So what are the lorry drivers going to be using? And it turns out when Germany tried doing it, they put 4 in at once, and all of them caught fire like it was a video game. So I don't think that's the smartest thing to stick all over London streets for 12 hours a day.
Okay, so no more electric cars.
I hate
Well, it
electric
doesn't
cars.
Why do you hate electric cars?
They're
fantastic.
deadly. They're deadly. They're silent.
I've
They're
had one for
silent
12
and deadly, aren't they?
well, just because you don't pay attention when you're crossing the road. I've had one for 12 years. I've not killed anybody yet, and I've
Nice.
not killed myself.
Famous
Well,
last
I
words.
was in an Uber.
Well, listen, I'm watching out for these after this is done.
I was in an Uber, electric car, and it ran out of battery.
Well, then that's the stupidity
And
of the
they
driver.
couldn't
That's not the
find the
electric car's
charging
fault.
point.
This is the problem. It's a charging
They're,
point.
they're hard
No,
to
it's
find.
not.
Even in
Yeah.
Glasgow, they had to bring in a load of diesel
Diesel
generators because they didn't have enough charging points for their electric cars. That was a major success, wasn't
we
it?
get 80% of the batteries from China as well, so we're trying to save the world. We're then giving all of this money to
Oh,
the
I don't-
nation that does
oh, hang
all
on a
these
second.
Oh,
Let me just
really?
correct- let me
You're
just
giving
correct you there.
half-half
Yeah, exactly my
Yeah.
point.
Let me correct you there. I don't drive an electric car because I care about the planet.
Why do you
It's
drive
much
it then?
cheaper.
Oh, fine.
Oh.
Yeah, but if the policy is based on they think we're going to save the planet, then why do we keep paying China all
as
this
soon
money?
as soon as they take away all the cash benefits, I'm not interested.
It's just so
I'll go
much.
back to the pet.
They scrapped it already.
I'm just sick
Just
of the
so
whole
unsexy,
green
aren't
thing
they?
now.
I find.
Okay, so time is up. We've done enough going through the papers. Oh dear, we found nothing in the Daily Express. Why? Because it's vapid. There's nothing in it. It's rubbish. Oh dear, what a shame. There we go. My thanks must go to my panelists today, to Connor Tomlinson, to Dawn Neesom, and to Ryan Mark. Well done, all of you. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mum.
Yeah, and until next time, for more Between the
dodgy
Sheets with me, James Max. Cheerio.